MZ Studios in Dallas, Texas.
Turn me up.
It's the Redboi Radio Show.
Hey, my mic sounds nice, check 1. My mic sounds nice, check 2. My mic sounds nice, check 3. What's going on, my good people? And let me welcome you to the award-winning Redboi Radio Show. I am coming to you live from the MZ Studios right here in the DFW. That is Dallas, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth for all y'all listening around the world. So let me say what's up to all my people on the west side. How y'all doing? Throw your W's up. All my people on the east side, what's up, son? Everybody up north, how you do? And everybody in the dirty down bottom in Dallas, Texas, y'all, what's going on, fam? Already, we are in the building. Thank y'all so much for joining me today for another edition of the Redboi Radio Show. And what a show it's going to be, y'all. I got a special guest in the building, y'all, and there are so many words from me personally that I can do to describe her. Some people say that some people are extra, but she is extra in a wonderful way, y'all, and I can't wait for y'all to get the opportunity to meet her and get to know her. She's been on my show before, so y'all may have started following her when she was on the show last time, but she's got a new book out. We're going to talk about that, man, and she's going to be dropping some serious nuggets. So I will tell you, if you've never heard from her before or you've never heard her speak, today is the day. You want to make sure you take a seat, relax, and make sure you listen to what she has to say. I will introduce y'all to her in just a few minutes, but I wanted to make sure y'all know that to get your attention because this is definitely going to be a great show. So if you're out there today, again, stay tuned. If you're watching us live right now on Facebook, y'all know what to do, fam. Go ahead and share the live feed because it costs you nothing but free 99. So y'all support your boy, show some love, and of course support my special guest. She's in the building, and y'all make sure y'all interact with us as we go through the show. Of course, if you're just listening to the audio, y'all know how we do it. Enjoy as we sit here, we have a conversation, and then when we take a break, we're gonna throw it back to some of your favorite classic hip-hop and R&B jams from back in the day. It's nothing but a good time as always here on the Redboi Radio Show. So I hope that you actually enjoy us, fam. It's been one hell of a week. We've been through a lot in this past couple weeks since I was last here. And there was some scheduling issues, so I didn't get to record 2 weeks ago, but now I'm here today. And it's been a lot going on, too much to actually talk about. But I'm saying all that to say that I hope you all are doing well. I hope that your mind is right. I hope that your spirit is right. We got a long way to go in this world, a long way. Even it's just like that moment or that time where we think we right where we supposed to be. Something happens and it kind of pushes us back. But don't give up, fam, because that's one thing about us that they don't like about us, and that's our resilience. We can't stop, won't stop. So let's keep on marching, y'all. Let's not let it get to us. Let's not get deterred. We still got a long way to go, so let's keep on marching. Hell, hold our heads up high like the kings and queens that we are, period, point blank, as y'all say, okay? All right, once again, fam, thank y'all for being here and enjoying this or joining me today for this special show. So like I said, we're going to get into a lot of things today with my special guest. Well, you'll get to know her here in a little bit. So what I want to do right now, let's go ahead and let me send some love, I would say, to the heavens. Y'all know how I do. Y'all can probably, those who watch me on my live feed, you see my t-shirt. Let me send some love to the heavens for my boy, Calvin Dorsey, who lost his life 5 years ago on the highway trying to help a pedestrian with her car, and car came around the corner, hydroplaned and hit him and almost killed him instantly. So every year I always want to make sure that I invoke his name because I can always sit here and say the life that he had, but at the same time I want to say the life that he still has, because I know if you know him like I know him, he touched you in a certain way, so which means he still lives within us. So every time that I do something or turn on this mic, I want to make sure that I think about him in a certain way, because he was always there for me. He was always telling me how proud he was of me. When he saw me doing my radio thing, fresh out the military, he was just like, man, you're doing it big. Keep going. He was always there. Today, our team is playing. It's a big game. He's not here to watch. So hopefully he's watching from above, and hopefully he'll help our boys get over this hump, because we need this victory today to keep moving. But I just want to say, Calvin, I love you, man. I know that people out there who know you, they love you as well. We miss you. We wish you were still here. I will see you when I get there, bro. But thank you for just being my very first friend that I ever had. And I mean that, y'all. When I came out the womb, of course, I had my twin. That was my first friend, if you will. But my very first friend I ever had was Mr. Calvin Dorson. And not a lot of people can say that you held down a friendship from the moment you were born until the time of his passing. Some of us have friends from long ago we don't even talk to no more. I made sure I stayed in touch with him. He made sure he stayed in touch with me. And that's real love. I miss him so much. So love you, dude. I'll see you when I get there. And we're going to get into my first song of the day. This goes out to my man, Calvin Dorsey. All my folks from the L, throw your L's up. Show your love for Calvin Dorsey. Y'all, this is the Redboi Radio Show. Let's go.
Hey, my loves, it's your sister Monique, and you're listening to my brother on Redboi Radio, classic R&B and hip-hop. Y'all know what it is.
Content and conversations for the culture. mixed with classics. On TRBRS.
Who you know do it better.
All right, fam, what's going on? We are back. This is your man, Redboi. It is the Redboi Radio Show coming to you from the MZ Studios right here in Dallas, Texas. And fam, let me get ready to introduce you to my special guest for today. But before I do that, let me do a real quick disclaimer so everybody understands. I know that if you're listening to this right now, audio via Spotify, Apple, Google, Anchor, whatever the podcast is, you're listening to the straight audio. I want to make sure my fans know who are actually following us on social media. If you're watching via YouTube or you're watching via Facebook, please understand to the copyright issues, we won't be able to play the audio, because if we do play the audio, then we'll lose that feed and you won't see us anymore. So whenever y'all see us quiet, know that there's music playing in the background. Stand by. We'll come right back at you, okay? Hope y'all can understand that. Hope that doesn't lose some of y'all, okay? All right, so let's get into it, fam. As I read this bio, y'all just make sure y'all listen, because it's a lot going on with this girl, which is a lovely, lovely thing, okay? So let me tell you about my special guest. She is an award-winning celebrity, master hairstylist. All right, she's a mentor, a coach, licensed faith-based counselor, professor of cosmetology, and a #1 international best-selling author. She is a creator of Married and Proud, a retreat that helps couples under 40 empower their marriages. She's the Big Hat Boss Brunch, an annual brunch that gives mentoring and empowerment to female entrepreneurs. And Mo Better Beat, which is a mental health awareness concert that sheds light on mental health. And that's just to name a few. All right. She's also an author, y'all, of The Hair University, which is a textbook that she created when she made history as the first professor of cosmetology for Tarrant County College and their cosmetology program. Man, she's got a brand new book out right now, in which we'll be talking about. It's called Girl, Hold Your Own Damn Purse. Which is a guide to taking responsibility for yourself, and it became a #1 international bestseller in codependency, self-help, and motivation in just under 8 hours on the largest bookstore on the planet, which is Amazon. Family, that's a whole lot to go with, but y'all see how great she is. So let me introduce you to my guest, Miss CC the Great.
Oh, thank you, Redboi.
CC, what's going on?
Look, a lot apparently. Thank you so much, though, for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Seriously, thank you.
Oh, absolutely had to have you here. I know that we met, and we talked about this briefly off air. We met we've been many years. We actually met in, I want to say, 16.
Yeah,
was our original
that was
visit.
a long time ago.
And then the last time I had you on the show was about 4 years ago.
Right.
And it was around the same time frame
Yes.
from now. And it was a good show then. I hope it's a good show today.
It's gonna be
You've
a
been
great
doing
show today.
so much. I know that you've been through a lot since then,
Yeah.
which we'll get into later.
Right.
But I know when I had you on, I'm every time I hear you speak, I mean, it's so motivational, and your attitude and your energy, I had to make sure that I share that with everybody else.
Oh, thank you.
I know you got your own audience that get it all the time. My audience don't get it. I want to make sure they do that. So especially, if y'all listening, fam, and I would say, especially if you got some daughters and some queens near you, y'all make sure they listen in. So,
right.
Cece, tell us what's been going on.
Okay, so the bio that you like listening to you. Look, I had to have you introduce me on everything.
Hey, that worked for me. Hey.
But okay, so since I released the first book, Girl, Hold Your Own Damn Purse, the guide to taking responsibility for yourself, that one went #1 in codependency, self-help, and motivation in under 8 hours.
Wow.
Well, I released my second book to the series, Girl, Hold Your Own Damn Purse, the guide to healing, on last week on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And it went #1 in new release in codependency in 4 hours and 30 minutes.
Wow.
So I am excited and just glad, because I'm a licensed faith-based counselor, but I'm not a PhD. And for me, I talk the way that CC talks, and I'm like, okay, it's people out here that need to hear, about codependency, what that looks like, what it means to hold your own damn purse. Because a lot of the times we're so busy taking care of everybody else that we neglect ourselves. So that's where the concept comes from.
Gotcha. And you've been doing what you've been doing for how long total?
Ooh. Look, so I became a faith-based counselor at age 19. I'm 37 now. And I've been a hairstylist for 12 years. I've been a professor of cosmetology for about 4 years, because when I came on the last time, it was to introduce my textbook, Hair University.
Right.
So about 4 years, just a long time, doing everything for a long time. But, sometimes people want to know what qualifies you to speak on codependency. What qualifies you to be able to do this or that? First of all, life qualified me. Okay. I was confused. Like, I've been going to counseling since I was about age 30. Okay. And I go every Monday, whether life is good, right, or indifferent.
Yeah.
Okay. Or good, right, wrong, or indifferent. And I was talking to my counselor one day, and I was like, I'm setting boundaries and, I'm doing all of these things, but I continue to pick a new group of people with a different face, different name, but the same issues.
Yeah.
And I said, I must be toxic because I attract toxic people. They say birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I'm one of them people that look into myself. So when I said that to him, he was like, Cece, you're not toxic, my dear. You're codependent. And I heard the term before, but I was like, yo, mama codependent. Like, it was like he had cursed me out. And I literally on the phone started going, because we do FaceTime now.
Yeah.
I was like, I started dry heaving because I'm like codependent. I thought codependent people, like, I'm not a doormat. I don't let people walk over me. Like, I had all of these things going on in my brain, like a complete meltdown for 3 days.
Wow.
Like, for real, I was like, ugh, it just made and then he said that, no, he didn't say it. When I started doing my research on codependency, I found out that codependent people are controlling. That made my flesh crawl. Because I didn't want to be labeled as a controlling person. But when I got past the 3 days of wallow and self-pity and all of this stuff, I said, okay, let me do some research on it. When I tell you it changed and saved my life, knowing that I was a codependent, because I found out what triggers me. Why do I operate the way that I do? Why I do go and get toxic people and try to take care of them. And I thought about it, and I'm sure you can relate with your wife or whatever, or if you see your wife or your mom or whomever out with their girlfriends, if we're out shopping or something, the first thing we do is we say, babe, hold my purse real quick. Or if my mom or me and my friends are out, they're like, girl, hold my purse, and you'll hold it. And especially with a woman, when I'm holding my friend's purse, I'm holding it with my life. Because first of all, I don't want nothing to come up missing.
Right.
I don't want to lose anything. I'm so busy watching your purse, I can't enjoy my shopping experience anymore. And I'm not even paying attention to my own. And that's where the title of the book came from, because I said it's like that in life. We're so busy holding our husband's purse, our kids' backpack, our work briefcase, even after we're off work, that we can't even focus on what's truly going on with us, which is most of the times, codependency.
And you know what's the sad part when you said that, when you mentioned husband's purse, kids' purse, and that's the sad part, because a lot of times, which we may do so unconsciously as husbands, as kids, is expected of you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's like a part of it. And like you said, it's not on purpose. And then too, you've been taught. I have a chapter in the book called Little Girls Hold Purses Too. Or carry purses too. Okay. And we've been taught, because my daughter carry a purse, she's 11. And we've been taught since we were little kids, like, okay, girl, get your purse. You put your little money in there, put your little lip gloss or your toy, whatever's important to you, put it in your purse. And I said, when you were a little girl, you were taught to carry purses, but where did it come from to carry people's emotional baggage? Where did you learn that? And guess what? You learned it when you were a child. Whether you were a man or a woman, when you were a child, you learned it. And I said it. My first thought of it came in when your parents try to teach you not to be selfish. So say your cousin, your friends come over, Thanksgiving is coming up, they come over for the holidays or whatever. And the first thing your mama do is go, well, let them play with it for a little bit.
Gotta share, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, well, hell, they mama didn't know they was coming over here.
Right.
Everybody make sure on the sound of my voice, when y'all go out this week, bring your child something to play with so they don't take the other kids' stuff. But they're trying to teach you to be empathetic for fear that you will become a selfish person. But what you did was just teach me to allow other people to go through my personal things. You didn't go in there and get your favorite stuff out for everybody to play with, the adults. But so what we'll then say, oh, well, sharing is caring. Yes, it is. But you're not also teaching me boundaries and how to share, because there's a way. Your mama brought you over here. She didn't teach you, to stay ready. So now I got to let you in my room, rummage through all my stuff. So you take that principle with you through your adult life. Like, oh, no, okay, I know I had this, but let me sacrifice because they need it. But are you looking at the context in which they need it? is it your job to hand them your purse? Or are you supposed to direct them somewhere else? Like, there are different ways to do it. But like you said, subconsciously, we do this. And it makes me think about one of my friends. She told me that she carries a really small purse on purpose so that her family don't put their things in her purse.
Oh, wow.
Right. It is deep. I said, girl, you just said something else and you didn't even realize it. Like, a lot of the times, too, we'll close ourselves off from people, and not even in a great emotional, a great way. We do it out of protection, but in a self-defense mechanism, where you stonewall people. But it's used to protect yourself. So sometimes you do need to open up your purse a little and let people in. But we've been abused, or people have taken advantage of the room that I have in my purse. Therefore, it's like, well, I'm a downsize. And sometimes it's healthy, but you got to stay on the balance.
Yeah, and some people, it depends on who you're speaking to as well, because a lot of them will take that, especially when you come from a space where you're always giving. And like you said, it's in your nature. You want to give. You want to assist others and helping them get to where you might be at this time, and so on. And the moment you say, oh, hold on, I got to take a break, now you selfish.
Yeah, you did something wrong.
It's not selfish, it's self-love.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because how can I give to you if I don't have enough for myself?
Absolutely.
You know?
And then also, it's not my job to sew into a pocket with a hole in it.
Boy.
I can have an overabundance of money, joy, happiness, whatever it is, it's 5 cars, okay? And just because your car break down, it is not my responsibility to say, girl, go ahead and take this one, drive it around. It depends. Why you don't have your car no more? See, a lot of the times we get caring and sharing and helping people just, oh, well, this is what Jesus would do. Jesus wouldn't leave us or forsake. Yes, he do. I got a book, a chapter in the book called The Bible Bag. And the first sentence is, Jesus was not a codependent. Anytime he helped someone, he always asked them, do you want my help first? He don't just jump up and go over there doing stuff for people.
Yeah.
He asked, I can't remember who it was. I think it was a woman by the well. Like, will you be made whole again? Like, I ain't come out here to preach or whatever, but if we're gonna use scripture, we got to learn how to use it in the right context and stop allowing different people to use scripture to keep us bound in places that were never intended for us to be in.
Trying to make you feel guilty.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite scriptures. It's in Romans. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it is in the book, which is available on Amazon. Girl, hold your own damn purse. It says, mark those that cause division amongst you and avoid them. So if someone is continually causing division, he told me to mark them. Like, okay, I see you. You start trouble. And then he said, avoid them. But then someone else will use the scripture and say, turn the other cheek. Forgive 70 times 7. Love your neighbors yourself. No, but he said, if my neighbor is causing division, mark her and avoid her. So it's about having the balance and understanding things, because religion will keep you stuck in situations that was never intended for you to be in. But look, I don't even know how I got there, but there it is.
But that's what's great about you. That's why they call you CC the Great, because you can take it there, and I love it. And it's funny because I'm laughing in my head as you speak about that stuff, because it kind of takes you back to like being a teenager, and I'm speaking with someone like when I first became a teenager and I was able to borrow my grandmother's car. You know what I mean? And you always, and I would be that habit, like I'm taking you somewhere. Hey, you got some gas money? And they wouldn't have it, and I get mad. And I'll be able to tell them, you always broke. But then you realize, wait a minute, who else is broke? You. So why are you driving?
Right.
Why you come out the house?
Driving somebody else's car.
Right. You drive somebody else's car. Why you even come out the house if you didn't have no gas money? You expected someone else to be there for you, and you got mad when they weren't able to provide that for you.
And that's a good point, because we weren't even taught like that balance to understand like what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
I tell my daughter that all the time. I'm like, okay, I'm not just gonna buy you stuff just because you're my only kid. Because I do that. I'm a girly girl. She's a girly girl. It's these Ugg boots that both of us want right now, and later on I'm going to go get me some. Because the point that I'm trying to teach you is I don't owe you anything, number one. And then what have you done to deserve these things? Because what we do is when we constantly give people things that, I guess without teaching them balance, You know,
Yeah.
you create, and that's when you're creating entitled, selfish people, and then they grow up to be the toxic people if they don't get a hold on it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, is a football player? I saw a video. He's married to a white woman.
Most
I think
recently.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that triggered me. So
I
that's a whole other conversation. But
I watched it this morning, and I was like, so somebody dropped the ball somewhere on both ends. Because there is no way, and that's not his first time doing this. The baby's there. So all of these things, we see everybody. There's a chapter in the book called Unpacking the Luggage. And what I talk about is there is luggage that we were already born with that was passed down to us generation by generation by generation, whether on purpose or subconsciously. And what our job is as adults is to go through that luggage and say, okay, I'm going to keep this. My family was loving, but my family suffered from addiction. I got to throw this out. Or maybe my father was physically or verbally abusive. What can I do to work on this because I see this showing up in me? But what happens is the behavior goes unchecked, and then the next generation has to deal with it. And a lot of the times it takes courage for one person to break this stuff.
You know what? See, that's another important key that I know that I struggle when I see us, and as we have, because we got this aura about us, so we're built a certain way, and we always repeat, even when we're doing to our kids. Sometimes we may not even know what we're doing, how we're affecting them, but some people will come back to, hey, what happened to me, I turned out all right, you'll be all right too. You can't say that. You're actually, you know what I'm saying? You're actually dismissing their soul, their spirit, how they might be feeling. They're completely different from who you are.
Absolutely.
They cannot be just like you. They're unique in their own way.
Right.
So I had to learn too, once my son was born, to give him his own little lane. You know
Right.
what I mean? You can't be like me.
Right.
You know, but I want you to be strong. Yes. I want you to stand up and be proud black man. But you know, he's an emotional guy. And I love that about him too. Very, very emotional. And I'm just trying to balance and teach him how to balance that emotion. However, but one thing I gotta be careful of, not making him feel like, hey, it happened to me, so I went through this, so you'll be fine.
Right. It's a whole nother generation.
Exactly.
Right.
That's a mistake sometimes. I think
it is a mistake.
Yeah.
And like you said, we have to be careful that with our kids, because even with when I look at my daughter, one time I told her, and this is just how I talk to her, grown women do what they have to, not what they want to. Now, you ain't grown yet, but get your shit and get up and let's go.
Yeah.
And I think she was 8. Some people might say, well, that's abusive, but at the time we were in danger actually. So you got to know when to shift. And then when we got out of the face of that danger, then I said, okay, now it's safe for mama to talk to you.
Yeah.
What you saw was not right.
Yeah.
What you saw, because it was something that happened. We were out at some other family members. You know how it go. When you get around family members, they get too much alcohol and get to acting silly and stuff.
It's coming this Thursday.
Right. And it was actually Thanksgiving when this happened.
Wow.
And we had to, and and she's starting to have a meltdown right now. Like, yes, okay, what you feel on the inside is real. But I said, let's go.
Yeah.
I dealt with this when I was a little girl. My daughter not gonna know this.
Yeah.
But so when we got in the car and we got to a safe place, I said, okay, Harley, now let's talk about what you felt. Because I gave her a place to know that it's safe for her to speak. And my daughter's in counseling. She goes to counseling every Friday. And not even necessarily because something is right or something is wrong. A lot of people don't know this. Like if you are not following me on my Facebook or my Instagram, I'm on Instagram is @CC_TheGreat. And on Facebook is C.C. Watkins. But I say all of that to say I had a tummy tuck. I lost 60 pounds on my own. I was working out every day, eating right. And then I was like, okay, this flab, it got to go. All my ladies know what I'm talking about. If you had a C-section or anything, that flab, it stink, it sweat, and it mess up all your outfits, okay? So I finally decided to go and get my tummy tuck, and I developed fat necrosis. Fat necrosis is when the blood cells don't go back to the area that was cut open, and then the skin dies.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it got infected. My stomach turned as black as this table that we're sitting at. And I ended up getting rushed to the hospital and had to have a hole cut in my stomach and scraped out the size of a football. And I was hospitalized from the 4th of July to like July the 10th or the 11th. And then I had to have a wound vac put in my stomach, which I said, Lord, you're so ironic. It's a purse that I had to carry around morning, noon, and night, no matter what I did, to help me heal quickly. But I say all of that to say I had made a post saying I was glad that, I was healing or whatever. And my question to my audience was, have you ever had to overcome something that was traumatizing? And my daughter responded to the question from her Instagram page and said, yes, I had to watch my mom in the hospital. And I didn't know if she was going to live or die. She's 11. And so I had not even thought to even ask her how she felt about that emotionally, and to even think about teaching her how to hold her own damn purse through that moment. But I was grateful that I allow a safe space for her to talk, because some kids, they don't even bring stuff up. Like you said, it's just like, okay, I got over it. I went through it. And you will too. You'll make it. But that's something that we have to normalize, allowing people to be who they are.
Yeah, and allowing yourself to be able to have those conversations with your kids. Because I'm going to tell you right now, social media ain't going to raise mine.
Okay.
I'm going to raise them.
Okay,
because if I don't say it, it's going to be out there anyway.
And
so
that's
you might as well get ahead
real.
of it.
I feel like no matter how young, maybe you may adjust the way that you say it.
Right.
But the conversation needs to be had. Because I remember when Harley came up to me and asked me, Mama, what's WAP? And I was like, I hadn't even heard the song yet though, but she said Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, they sing it. And I was like, well, girl, if they sing it, it's probably, and I told her. Then we ended up having a conversation about exactly what that is. And how it happens. And it just went down from there, because like you said, somebody else gonna tell them. And then a few weeks later, she went to her 6th grade orientation, and she said that the kids at the back of the bus were talking about losing their virginity. I'm so grateful.
At that age,
Yes. She's 11. That me and her had already discussed it, because I don't want them teaching her. She need to know first from us. There's always a way to have a conversation, even if you think that your child isn't ready for it, because they hearing it, even if you're not telling them.
That's true. That's true. And I've always told my son this too. When we having conversations, I kind of let him know a little bit. Now I'm gonna give you this piece,
right?
And I always tell him there's more to come,
right?
As you get older,
right? But not at this time.
Yeah, but never be afraid to come and ask a question.
Right.
And if I feel you're ready for it, I'll tell you. If you're not ready for it, trust me that I got your back.
Right.
And if I'll tell you, you ain't ready for that, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, Dad, and we let it
go
be.
on.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah. Man, look, I told y'all thought I was playing. This is Cece the Great, y'all. I'm telling you, she got so many nuggets. We ain't even probably dove into half of what she got to say. But y'all, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk more about this brand new book, Girl, Hold Your Own Damn Purse, with my girl Cece the Great. Right now, we're going to get into some Erykah Badu, Bag Lady. Y'all keep it locked right here on Content and Conversations for the Culture. It's the Redboi Radio Show.
Listen, throwback, hip hop, and R&B.
Bring it back
with Mr. Throwback himself, Redboi on the Redboi Radio Show.
All right, family, once again, this is the Redboi Radio Show. I'm coming to you from the MZ Studios here in Dallas, Texas, and I got my special guest in the building, Miss CC the Great. If you are just now tuning in, shame on you. You missed a lot already, fam. You've definitely missed a lot. We're having a good time up here in the studio. We're dropping nuggets. We're talking about her brand new book, Girl, Hold Your Own Damn Purse.
Yeah.
If you're trying to figure out what that is, I advise you to continue to listen. But also, don't forget, fam, before we end this show, make sure you go to Amazon. Make sure you look up the book and go ahead and purchase. It's a good read, I guarantee you. CC ain't never let me down. She won't let you down either, fam. So let's get back into it, CC. I want to talk a little bit more about your journey.
Okay.
It takes a lot, I believe, to be that vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I remember being on Facebook, and you had dropped some photos of your experience. And at first I was like, oh, snap. Because I saw the picture pop up first, so I didn't know it was you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw this picture, I was like, who in the world is doing this and for what?
Right.
And then when I realized it was you, I knew who was behind it, of course. Then I was like, oh, wow.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing. So I got to ask you, what came into your head at that time and say, you know what? I'm not just going to talk about it. I'm going to show and prove what I went through. And how did you get in that space of vulnerability to be able to show your journey in that way?
Right. So when I was in the hospital for that time, I just was looking at everything, and I was grateful because I had my husband and my mom, and one of my closest friends coming up to the hospital every day. But I was like, oh my God, there are people who actually don't have anyone. And then when I got back home, I started to think too, if the surgery went well, I'd be up in my 2-piece bikinis taking pictures everywhere. And I'm kind of one of those women, right?
Okay.
If it went good, I'd be over there, in everything, my outfits on and all of that. And a lot of the times I was posting, and I still had my wound vac, still had the hole in my stomach and everything, but it looked like, I look good.
Mm-hmm.
But my point, I didn't want to share it until I was like 90% healed, number one, because you don't need any negativity coming in, because it'll slow down your healing progress.
Okay.
But I said, well, if it went good, you would share it.
Yeah.
So if it went bad, you need to share it, because you still overcome by the power of your testimony. And there are women who are ashamed because they wanted to enhance their bodies, and they've shamed themselves actually into going, oh, well, look at you now. You should have been happy with who you are before, and now look at you, got a hole in your stomach, or the skin is coming off. When I tell you, when I shared my story, my inbox was flooded with hundreds of women who went through the same exact thing as me. And I was like, well, dang, if somebody would have shared that with me, maybe I would have known, what to look for.
Right, what to expect. Yeah.
Right, or what to do. Because after it happened to me, the doctor who did my surgery, he told me to come back 4 days later for him to take a look at it, when actually I should have went to wound care immediately. That wound had 4 days from the day when it started to an additional 4 days to spread the way that it did. But there's not enough information on it when women go through surgeries, traumatic surgeries. I know K. Michelle has a show that's coming out on Lifetime called My Killer Body, where she's talking about what happened with her body, and she has other special guests. So I'm sure people will be coming out more, but no one is really sharing. And then I said, well, I felt alone because no one around me had been through what I went through. Not my friends, not my family members. And so I wanted other women to know that you can overcome this, that you're not wrong for wanting to make your body look better. I had somebody tell me that I should have been happy with the body that God gave me before. That's why I went through what I went through. Well, the Lord wasn't happy with my body before. I was 61 pounds overweight. That didn't even make any sense. He made surgeons and put surgeons out here. People can enhance their cars, add on to their houses, and none of those things go with you. I have to walk around with this body all the way until it's time for me to go. So if I'm unhappy with something, it doesn't mean that I don't love myself.
Right.
I just want to change
how
it.
it looks.
Right. And I want it to be it's like, okay, if that's the case, then don't nobody wear no makeup.
Hair.
Don't wear hair. Right.
Nothing. Right.
Just walk out the house looking your your regular self.
Leave the Gucci bag on the shelf.
Everything, because you're not happy with yourself. All of this stuff is enhancement. That doesn't mean that I don't love myself, but I wanted to make it even better. I know what I see, and there's no shame in wanting to enhance. I still am for surgery. I probably won't be getting another one.
Yeah.
But I advocate for women to stay local so that your family can be there for you.
Yeah.
And to do your research. If your doctor doesn't have before and after pictures, my doctor did.
Yeah.
But when I shared that story too, most of the women who were in my inbox were women who went to my doctor. Ain't no way I would have chose him had I known that there were several other hundreds of women out there who went through the same thing. But all I see is the women on there, the before and after, they looking good. But I'm grateful that I shared my story. That's kind of something about me, who I am. I'm like, no, you ain't gonna tell it before me. I'm gonna tell it, and I'm gonna tell it from what my experience. So that's what I did, and I'm glad I did.
I'm quite sure a lot of folks are glad you did. I said when I looked at it too, and I'm glad you said that. It was not that you had shame in changing how you look. That's you. If whatever you want to be comfortable with. I think a lot of folks they get out of context because they see. So now a lot of folks are actually changing the color of their skin.
Yeah, now that is different.
That trying injections and you trying to look.
A different nationality.
Right, a whole different. Exactly,
That's
whole
crazy.
different nationality. I think that's what people might equate that to, but it's not the same.
It's not the same. And look, I'm a hold my own damn person. It is what it is, but. If you're changing your skin color, that means that you might have a deeper issue going on the inside. Yeah. There might be a little self-hatred. Yeah. You know, or someone may have told you something when you were a kid. I don't like backwards compliments. I talk about that in the book too. I have a chapter 5 called The Click Clutch. And I talk about the different types of friends that you have and so-called friends. And there are certain women are really good at giving underhanded compliments. You pretty for a fat girl. You cute to be dark-skinned. What do you mean I'm cute to be dark skinned? I'm just cute. Being fat doesn't mean that I'm ugly. Hell, I'm overweight. I'm still pretty. Or thinness is not equal beauty. You could have the ugliest, grossest, nastiest attitude in the world, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I love to meet a woman who is so fly and so bomb and so beautiful, but then she got that attitude and graceful spirit to match. I can't stand a woman with a nasty, stanky attitude. Because it's like, girl, first of all, you broken. You need to go get my book. Because a real woman recognizes a real woman. What's understood doesn't need to be discussed. Yeah. Why are you putting up this facade and who are you trying to impress? Yeah. You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but we all can understand kindness. You know, it doesn't cost anything to be kind. Yeah. You know, so you have a point with that. If you changing like your skin color and I don't know, it's a bunch of stuff that people do. A lot. Eyeballs, the whole nine. Yeah. But I'm just like, okay, it ain't for me, but it's a no. Yeah. And I've had this conversation before on a previous show where I try to remind folks that some of the ladies, and it's been some gentlemen too. I don't want to leave Sammy Sosa's crazy tail out of it, but where they've changed their color, and you got to realize before this even came to be, before that technology or whatever was available for you to do so, you got to remember when we were coming up, thin, skinny, and everything, that was the model look, right? That was what told you were pretty, right? And they disgraced your natural hips, your natural thighs, your hair. Lips, It was a disgrace then, and now the tide is shit that they spending $10,000 and some change to look like you, right? Yeah. So the last thing we need to do is get that money right back. Right, to look like them. I agree 100%. When I first started growing my locks, my mom was like, ugh, you just doing it. You need to go ahead and relax your hair and this and that. And I was like, well, this is my hair texture. This is who I am. Who told me that I wasn't beautiful? Yeah. Who, what did it say in the scripture? Who told you was naked? And even with the beautiful piece, and why'd you believe them? Right. That's a question I always And I ask. Hate the word as a cosmetologist, nappy, because it comes from the diapers like that were made, of course, a long time ago, 1800s or whatever. There was cotton in there, and when the baby would poop in the the diaper, the cotton, what they call that naps, because it's dark, it's curly, it's coarse, but it's cotton with boo boo in it. So then we come over here and they say, "Oh, you got nappy hair.
Like
Turn your head look like shit." And so I find myself sometimes, every once in a while, I gotta correct myself. But there's no such thing as nappy hair. To me, there's no such thing as good hair. To me, all hair is good.
It's how we've been culturally
Programmed,
conditioned.
yeah.
We've been culturally conditioned to say what's good. If you got it straight, you good. If it's not straight, it's bad.
Right.
And they taught us long time ago not to love ourselves enough to be like, walk out. I'm good either way you look. I'm straight. You know, we gotta love ourselves enough. That's why I think it comes from it. Well, that's a whole nother conversation. But it has to do with
and it's a part of holding your own damn purse. Because a part of holding your purse is learning to accept yourself and the people around you for who they are. Yeah. It may not be for you, but you should have enough respect for someone else to say, okay, well, I may not be confident enough to wear my hair natural, but that's her. I'm not gonna shame her or body shame or fat shame or whatever because I don't understand. I don't understand it. It's not for me.
Yeah.
But a part of holding your own damn purse is being able to see people where they are and let them be who they are.
Yeah. What I like about having these type of conversations, right, especially on this show, one thing I love about having a platform in a show and having guests on such as yourself, you never know who's watching and you never know who you might, I always call it a pinch, because that's all it takes.
Right,
one
a
pinch can change someone's life. So I'm looking down at my social media feed. I want to give out a shout out to my man, Jay Bridges, and he just basically said, sometimes you are driven to something at the perfect moment when you need to hear something. And he's like, bam. So whatever you dropped, I'm not sure what section, but he got it, and maybe somebody else may have got it as well. So I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Fam, if y'all are out there, of course, and if you guys are actually watching us via our social media pages, feel free to drop a question and or a comment. I know, of course, I may not be able to get to all of them or answer each and every question, but I'm glad and I appreciate you guys wanting to participate. And reach out to myself and or CC with any other comments that you may have, and hoping you're getting this good information, these good nuggets that she is dropping, because they're definitely worth it, and I think it's very important to our community. Like I said, this whole show is about content and conversation for our culture, of course, mixed with some classics, but this is a good convo. I really appreciate it. Looking back too, also, and going back to the journey piece, was there ever a point as you're going through that you thought, maybe I shouldn't share this, maybe I shouldn't tell this person, maybe I shouldn't, or did you ever feel like as soon as you push that send button, like, am I lost my mind? Walk me through it if you ever felt that way.
Okay, so I didn't feel that way, but I was still nervous. Like, I knew I was supposed to do it.
Okay.
And I was okay with doing it. But it's still that unknown because when I put it in the surgery group that my doctor's in, that happened to me, and one girl took it so personally. She was so offended. I sit up here, I hadn't even told my story yet. Okay. I just put the pictures up and said, I got my surgery on this date by this doctor. I'll be sharing my story on such and such date. Well, you just don't listen, and you probably had on your faja and this and that. And it's like, girl, you don't even know my story. You don't know me. You just started assuming and jumping. And a lot people do that a lot in your life. They'll take your journey personally. And this didn't even happen to you. And I told her, be grateful that your surgery went well.
Yeah.
This is what happened to me. And I haven't even shared my story. You just see a picture. Don't take it personal. Hold your own damn purse. Don't assume before you've even had a chance to listen to what someone has to say. See, she's listening, or not even listening, but looking ready to react. And I even talk about that in the book, and I think it's chapter 10, Secure the Bag. Be a mirror, not a sponge. See, a mirror just reflects, but a sponge absorbs.
Yeah.
So when someone comes to you talking crazy shit or, whatever, I'm going to let you look back at yourself. Because the moment I absorb that, I'm going to become someone who I don't want to be. Either I'm going to try to match your energy, which still make me look stupid, or I'm going to absorb that and take it to heart and go, well, maybe I am stupid. Maybe I'm ugly. Or maybe they right. Maybe I do talk too much. Maybe I do post about myself too much. Maybe I am extra. That's why I loved when you opened it up and you said I was extra. And I used to be scared of it, like, oh, let me tone it down. Let me dim my light. Because even when I was a heavier girl, it's like, okay.
It's who you are, though.
Right. And I'm literally just now starting to own it.
Yeah.
Be like, you know what it is? If my light is too bright, sis, I don't know what to tell you.
It's almost like if you'd have walked in today and you didn't bring it, I would think something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because that's how I met you.
Right.
And
That's
you ain't
who I
changed
am.
since. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah.
And some people are offended by your light, and what they do is they project onto you. They'll put what they're going through onto you.
Yeah.
And we'll receive it like, oh, it's like, no, it's not. That's you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take it personal, but that takes practice to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we want to defend ourselves, but it's like, I ain't got to defend that's trash. So, okay, that's what you think. That's how you feel. All right. Walking off. Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Why do I have to? You're not a judge.
Not mine.
No.
Yeah.
We're not in a court of law.
Right.
I don't know. Like, that's the only thing that I have to answer to. I'm thinking, like, at this time, if they ask me something, I could choose to lie or tell the truth, but I still have to give a response or plead the fifth, so to speak.
Yeah.
But when it comes to someone just asking you stuff, you're not obligated to answer a question or have a response for everything.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back real quick.
Sure.
Two things. I'm going to go back to what you said about the girl and how she responded because you shared, right?
Yeah.
And you said that the same person who did that, her surgery went well.
Absolutely.
I'm not a psychologist.
Right.
However, I pay attention to a lot of people's energy, right? And it tells me by her saying that, it's almost like in a sense, unconscious, she's upset that she ain't got a story to tell.
Huh.
That her story is not inspiring enough because you went through trauma, you're still here, and you get to inspire.
Oh, that's so good.
You know what I'm saying?
You just helped me today.
That's what and I don't know where, as far as us as a people, where the hatred comes from.
Right.
Because sometimes I'm being honest. I've been around people. Well, they'll get upset because you have a story to tell, and they don't.
Right. And it's like, do you know what I went through with
you
this?
don't want to go through this.
Right. I was septic.
Trust me. Yeah. You can have it. Yeah. You can take it with you.
I didn't know I was going. I was about to die. Like literally, didn't even know the definition of septic. They just kept saying, "Ma'am, you're septic. We need to do the surgery as soon as possible." I still took 2 days to think about it.
Wow.
And the Lord kept me those 2 days until the nurse came in. I said, I go to see my wound care doctor on Monday. Y'all, it's Sunday. She's like, listen, you could die sitting right here talking to me. You could get down to the parking garage and drop dead. And I was like, me and my husband looked at each other and was like, okay. You can get the surgery. And they took me in immediately. But that was so good what you just said, because I battle not me being jealous, because I'm naturally happy for people, but women being jealous of me. And for the life of me, I don't understand it. But when you just said that, because I'm like, well, hell, what do I have in my mind? What do I have for you to be jealous of? But sometimes people are jealous, envious, or upset because they don't have a story to tell.
To inspire the masses,
right.
And you do, and they will take that.
Or
maybe
you're not afraid to tell your story, and they are.
Yeah.
And so I love that, Redboi. That was good.
That's how I see it.
That was a good nugget.
Selena wants to know real quick what inspired you to write this particular book. And then as you say, what inspired you to write the book, because I know we're getting close to time, I want you to also break down exactly what the book means and what you want people, ladies and males, to get out of the read.
Okay. So, like I said at the beginning of the show, what inspired me to write the book was the fact that I learned that I was codependent. I was working on changing myself. I could tell something was wrong, but I kept repeating the same mistakes over and over again. I have a group of friends and I'm overly giving. I'm overly sharing. I'm just doing all these things, and then it'll end real bad. And they'll make it like it's my fault. And I'm like, well, come on, I must be toxic. And like I said, my counselor said, you're not toxic, you're codependent. So when I went on the journey of discovery of what does codependency mean and how does it affect me, that's when I started going, oh, okay. So a lot of people might not understand this. We hear the term codependent, but how can I tell people about codependency like Cece the Great would talk about codependency?
Yeah.
And so that's when I started to write the book, because like I said, I thought about it when I go shopping with my friends, or I'll be the one sometimes. I even tell my daughter, Harley, hold my purse real quick. And when, as a woman, especially when you're holding someone else's purse, you're not able to hold your own the proper way. It ruins your shopping experience, whatever it is you're doing, because you're so busy trying to make sure that the other person's items don't come up missing to where you're not guarding your own.
Yeah.
And so when writing the book, I broke it down into, first of all, this implies that you might be a codependent. So I talk about what codependency means. That means that you're a martyr, maybe. You die on every hill. If this don't get done, if I don't do the grocery shopping, ain't nobody gonna do it. If I don't do this, ain't nobody gonna do it. You feel underappreciated, overworked, run down. Codependents are controlling. That's the most hating part about it. But codependency starts in childhood. Maybe you had overly restrictive parents, or you didn't have strict enough parents. Maybe you grew up in a home where there's substance abuse, alcoholism, or a thing like that. Or it didn't happen to you in childhood. Maybe you had a spouse or a friend who were alcoholics or drug addicts, and then you dove into their role of rescuing. And so I talk about that in the book, but I relate it to, let's look at our own damn self. Because we keep looking at everybody else, and as I'm saying this, and let me redirect you if you're doing this, Keisha and them need to hear this. No, you need to hear it. We do that at church or wherever, at a women's conference. Like, I wish Brittany was here because her ass. No, your ass.
I love it. Love it.
Holding your own damn purse is about looking at yourself and getting yourself together. Because when I hold my stuff, then I can see clear and be a better wife, mother, friend, whatever to someone else.
Yeah.
And that's where it came from.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Family, this is just the tip, of course, this conversation that we had today. I want to thank y'all for being here. Before I let CC out of here, I want her to let y'all know where y'all can actually follow her. And, of course, I see some of y'all's comments on here. I see y'all's comments, and I'm hoping that it's just not comments. Y'all make sure y'all go to Amazon, support our sister, get this book. And the thing is, you already know about the conversation. You won't be disappointed. You ain't got to worry about how great a read it is. She already gave some of it already. So y'all make sure y'all do that. But please let everybody know where they can follow you, CC, and also let them know again where to purchase the book. Okay, so the book is available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. If you go to amazon.com/books in your on the internet. Don't just go to the app. Actually go into a browser and put that in for the ebook. It's weird. But it's Girl, Hold Your Own Damn Purse, The Guide to Healing. That actually includes book number 1 and 2 and a journal. Okay. So you getting all of it in one. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at CC_TheGreat. That's CC_TheGreat. And then my website is ccthegreat.com. There you go. There you go. And trust me, y'all, when I know since we talking about jealousy and all that, pinch of jealousy, she calls herself CC the Great. Is she lying? I'm asking y'all that. Is she lying? I already know the answer myself. I'm just keeping it real. Hey, you want a nickname? You better stand up to that. You better live up to that name. That's already targeted. You are great, and I definitely appreciate that. Before we get out of here, fam, once again, we're gonna do another episode. I'm recording another episode. CC has decided to stand by with me. So if y'all know me and follow me, know how this works. We'll kill this show, and then we'll get into our next show here in a little while. But before I get out of this show, I'm looking at my feed. I see a lot of y'all's comments. A lot of y'all saying you're going to go get the book. Please go get it. Some of y'all are really shouting about the whole sponge and mirror thing. I love that too. But I want to give a quick shout out to someone who's on my feed. I hadn't spoken to her in a long time. She's on my feed, and I want to give her props because she is partly a piece. She's definitely, and I'm not saying that is to make her small, but she is a piece of why I'm here today doing radio. And that's my girl, Monica Alonzo. She was my instructor while in broadcasting school. She helped me out a lot. We talk about a lot during school. She's also a vet in the radio game as well. So I just want to give her a shout out. She just got back on Facebook. Welcome back. But I'm glad she's here today. Thank you for tuning in today, Monica. And again, you all know how I feel about you. I appreciate the teachings, the lessons that were learned while in class. And so just want to give you that love. All right. So, but everybody else, once again, I really, really appreciate y'all tuning into this episode of the Redboi Radio Show. Of course, if you're on my Facebook, once again, we will kill this feed and move on to another one here in the next few minutes. If you're listening to the audio, of course, don't keep it to yourself. Please do not keep this information to yourself. Like CC said, when Brendan and them need to hear this. Hey, guess what?
Yeah.
You heard it. And if
Now
you think they need to hear it, don't just, share it. Make sure. But y'all can follow me, of course, at the Redboi Radio Show, and make sure you listen to wherever you listen to your podcast. I am on Spotify. I'm on Apple. I am on Google. I'm on Anchor. What else am I missing? It's a few of them. All the big boys,
Right,
I'm there.
you on there.
I'm on the big boys. So, again, y'all, thank y'all so much. Again, we're going to get into another episode here in a few minutes. I definitely want y'all to make sure you tune back in. This next episode or this next conversation is very needed and deep. I'm going to pinch a couple people, and that's okay, because every now and again you need to be pinched. And that's what we're going to do here next. And I'm so grateful that CC is going to join me in that. So once again, thank you to you, CC, for being here, for sharing not only your knowledge, but your energy. It's so infectious. I hope that you know that. I hope that you know when you walk in a room that your energy speaks loud and clear. I really hope you feel that way. And I just really appreciate you so much. When I told you, when we're talking about you being right on time to come on the show, you are. You are right on time with all of this going on in our circles right now. To get that energy from you and giving it to the folks, I really, truly, truly appreciate you. I really do. So that's some flowers. I'm going to give you some more flowers. Okay. Okay.
My pleasure.
All right. So once again, fam, thank y'all so much. We're going to kill this episode. And again, we'll be back with another episode. So make sure y'all are there with us. All right. Before I leave, family, just remember this. As you get through this journey, I hope that you will seek and find your purpose. And once you find your purpose, do everything and anything you can to live in that purpose. And do all that on purpose. I love y'all. Peace.